My name is Sophie Nicole, and this is Subnautica, kinda. Obviously, I am not in-game, but this is the mods showcase video thing. You can see a whole bunch of tabs here in my Firefox window here. And we're going to be going through each one of these and explaining what the mod is and what it does and maybe why I have it. And that will be hopefully helpful for some people. So yeah, you can find all of these in the video descriptions of my Subnautica videos. There's links to all of them in the description. I've been putting that in every video, so yeah, that should be easy enough. So this particular mod, the first one here, these are in alphabetical order. That's how I had it listed in the description, and I just opened all of the tabs, or all of the links in the description. So this one is Advanced Inventory. It doesn't do much by itself. It adds a scrolling zone for inventories, and it requires bag equipment, or it's required for bag equipment, which is one of the other mods. Not much to say about this one. It enables other mods to work. All items one by one. Pretty obvious. The items in game go to one by one space in the inventory, because inventory management, to the degree that this game sometimes requires, is kind of ridiculous, and I don't want to deal with it. So, bag equipment allows the use of one of three equipment bags, and these increase your inventory space by 2, 4, or 6 rows. Yeah, 2, 4, 6 extra rows, which is helpful. And which the game should have supported natively, but it doesn't. Because if you watch, what is it, episode 7? Whichever one is the one I'm going through, the Aurora. And if you go through there, and you'll notice that there's these duffel bags, and the in-game description of these is something about it lets you carry more and you can put stuff in it. But if you put stuff in it, you can't pick it up. Which is the entire point of a duffel bag. You put things into it so that you can pick it up and walk away with it, but you can't pick it up if it's so stupid. Anyway, this mod more or less fixes that. Base clocks. Because clocks. Better ACU. The ACU is the Alien Containment Unit, and this mod adds a number of configurable options, and basically generally improves the ACU. It's very helpful. Better power info. In one of the last episodes that I did as of this recording, which was like episode 8, I think, you may have noticed this mod, you can hit one of the keyboard keys to, as it shows right here, I'm looking right at it, open up the expanded view of what's using and generating power. So I don't use that a lot, but when I'm trying to track down what is burning a whole bunch of power and why I'm running out of power, that tends to be useful. Better vehicle storage, which is apparently no longer updated. Is that going to end up breaking? Doesn't seem to be breaking currently. This, since I'm able to use it, it adds progression with the storage modules. You can upgrade them. Using the modification station. And of course, you know by now that I think more inventory space is better, so even at the expense of realism, which is, if you know me very well, is sort of counter to my usual paradigm, but every rule has an exception. Biome HUD indicator, it unlocks when you unlock the compass. And you use a compass and some other things, and you make this, and when you have it equipped, it tells you which biome you're in. You enter a biome, and it does this. Now entering safe shallows, gives you a little cute thumbnail. Yeah, very helpful. I usually try to get one pretty quickly. I think in this playthrough I haven't yet, and I'm just uploading part 9 now. So whether or not that changes in the near future, I can't say. Probably it will. Coordinates display. I get lost in a wet paper bag. You could put me in my bedroom, blindfold me, turn me 360 degrees, and I will not know where I'm at. So the coordinates display is incredibly helpful. You've seen it in my videos, but the coordinates are in the upper left corner, and it's very, very helpful. Custom beacons. Lets you change the icon and color of the beacons more so than vanilla allows, which I do use to some degree, and I like the option to use it. So, Custom Craft 2. This is a crafting editing mod. It lets you add and edit crafting recipes, which I have a couple. I've added the recipe for the nutrient block using this, and I think there's 1 or 2 others that I added, but I don't remember what they are. Cyclops docking mod, pretty self-explanatory. It adds a base piece, which is the Cyclops dock. And you add the base piece to your habitat, and your Cyclops can dock with it so that you can, when you leave the Cyclops, you enter your habitat directly. It's so helpful. It even has an autopilot feature where if you get within a certain range of the dock, the autopilot takes over and docks you automatically, which you can toggle on and off in the options, I think. Highly recommended. The Cyclops near-field sonar. It's just the mini sonar display like you have on the Sea Glide, which I don't use on the Sea Glide because it kind of gets in the way, but in the Cyclops it's sort of off to the side, as you can see here. This is another one where I don't always use it, like I don't always pay attention to it, but it's helpful, and I want the option of using it. So I have downloaded the mod for it, because that's what mods are for, to give you the option. Cyclops thermal upgrades. It improves the thermal reactor module and lets you upgrade it into a better version. I think there's other things it does. Power indicator info, PDA icon, blah blah blah. No, I guess this one is just the upgrade. That's fine. That works too. There's a data box somewhere containing the blueprint, apparently. Oh, that's for the reactor module, not the Mark II. Right, that makes sense. I have the dome sometimes, it's okay. Data box scanner fix. So, in the vanilla game, when you have a scanner room going, you have the scanner chip in your HUD, and it pops up, as you can see here, the indicator on your HUD showing, oh, there's a data box there. It does this for data boxes you have already gathered the data for. And this disables that. As it says here, it removes the scanner room blips for already open data boxes. Because if you're searching using a scanner room for data boxes, you don't care about the data boxes you've already gathered the data for. You care about the ones that are still running, the ones that you haven't found yet. So why would you... This fixes that. Death waypoint. If you die in vanilla Subnautica, everything in your inventory that you picked up since the last time you were in a habitat, or the sea moth, excuse me, not the sea moth, the Cyclops, all of that stuff drops where you died, and you have to go find it again. If you have a beacon in your inventory, and only if you have a beacon in your inventory, when you die, this mod automatically deploys the beacon. Which for someone like me who can't find their way out of a paper bag is very helpful. Because I'll die and then I'll be like, wait, fuck, where was that? And then I spend 3 hours looking for the spot and it's right over there and I missed it because I'm an idiot who can't navigate out of a paper bag. Debris recycling. So all of these like cargo containers and bits and bobs that you find in wrecks and shit, you can use the this doohickey, the habitat builder, to deconstruct those. Not all of the bits and bobs, but a lot of them. And it'll give you like salvage metal, titanium, salvage. It gives you stuff. If you can pick it up with the propulsion cannon, it says here, or move it with the repulsion cannon, you cannot deconstruct it. In the base game, the vanilla game, this lets you yeah. Point made. My inarticulate mess of a speech here is, you know, notwithstanding. Defabricator, which I used in a recent video. You press the jump button while you're in the fabricator and it lets you defabricate things. I imagine there's stuff you can't defabricate, but a lot of the stuff that are in the fabricator menu you can defabricate, which is great. And it never made sense to me, frankly, that you've got this fabricator that can take raw materials and turn it into other materials. but it can't take raw materials and turn it into other materials the other direction. Like, it can take titanium and turn it into a trash can, but it can't take a trash can made of titanium and turn it into a blob of titanium. Why not? That's dumb. If it can do, it's the same operation, it's just turning it into a different shape. Why does it matter? So this mod adds that neglected feature. Drillable scan? Oh, yeah. So in the vanilla game, in the scanner room, if you go, oh, that's in Russian. If you go in and you click gold, any gold nugget in the scannable area that it finds, it's going to pick up. And it will pick up the drillable deposits. And in the vanilla game, you can't choose between them. It's one, it's both or neither. And that can get irritating if you are looking for one but not the other. This lets you look for both. Or one or the other, or both. Which is pretty helpful. And I realize I've said that's helpful like a dozen times, and it remains true, so bear with me. Drop upgrades on destroy. So theoretically, when a vehicle is destroyed, in the vanilla game, if a vehicle is destroyed, it's gone, and so is everything in it. With this, theoretically, when it's destroyed, it drops upgrades that were equipped in it, which you can then go pick up. I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think this doesn't play as well as would be preferred with the upgrade slot extender mod. I think it only drops upgrades if those upgrades are in the vanilla upgrade slots. And if you have more slots than that, then the ones that are in the other slots, it doesn't. But I don't know that for sure. Don't hold me to that. Don't quote me. EasyCraft. What is EasyCraft? Oh yeah. Crafts ingredients for a blueprint and takes materials from the neighboring stores. So in the vanilla, in order to craft a battery, you would need, no, battery is a bad example. In order to craft a power cell, you would need a battery and rubber. Rubber, foam, rubber, something. Rubber of some, the rubber doohickey. And you would have to have the battery and the rubber in your inventory. The battery requires copper and acid mushrooms, and the rubber requires seed clusters from the creepvine seed clusters. So you'd have to go in and make the batteries, and you'd have to make the rubber, and then you'd have to make the power cell, and all of it would have to be in your inventory. With this mod, as long as you have the raw ingredients, the 4 acid mushrooms, 2 copper, and 2 seed clusters, or whatever it is, in your inventory, or a nearby inventory within a certain range, which you can set in the options, it'll pull automatically from extra storage, and it will craft all of that into the power cell without you having to do all of the intermediary crafts, which is so fucking helpful. It saves so much time, effort, and irritation. Oh my god. For those who are watching my my videos without having played the vanilla game, by the way, this is what the normal fabricator inventory looks like. Extra options. This adds texture and light and murkiness options. Episode 1, we went through some of that. Adds UI for those settings, which is pretty neat. Fixed Thermoblade. So, in the vanilla game, the Thermoblade has this weird graphical bug where a lot of the time, like you can see here, a lot of the time the heat effect from the Thermoblade is visible even when the knife isn't equipped, and it's really irritating. This fixes that. Performance fix for geysers. Geysers are performance sinks, and this optimizes them a bit. Ingredients from scanning. So normally when you scan something that you already have the blueprint for, it gives you 2 titanium. And there's another mod I used to use where instead of 2 titanium, it's 1 titanium and 1 copper. But then I found this mod, and instead of either of those, it gives you components of that blueprint with a range of amounts that you can set. I think I have it set between 2 and 10. So between 2 ingredients and 10 ingredients, up to the amount of ingredients that the blueprint that item would take. And it just dumps all of those into your inventory, which makes more sense because you have a beacon sitting there on the seafloor, for example. It's not a beacon blueprint, it is a beacon, and you're scanning it for blueprints, but instead of scanning it, you end up deconstructing it because you already have a blueprint. Why would it just deconstruct into 2 titanium every time, no matter what the item is? Why couldn't you salvage some parts from it? That's what this allows you to do. Large deposits fix. So there's a bug where the scan room blip of a resource deposit that you drill is visible even after the resource deposit is gone from the scanner room. This fixes that. Map. This adds the map, which I have used extensively. I didn't realize there were mouse hotkeys. That's good to know. Anyway, yeah, the map mod, because once again I can't navigate myself out of a paper bag, so more Cyclops upgrades. This enables more upgrades for the Cyclops. It used to be you got all of them in the same mod, which sort of annoyed me because like a lot of them I don't want. I just want like 1 or 2 of them. But this now acts as like the core library, as it were, for those mods. More modified items. This adds the lightweight ultra capacity tank, because you either get the ultra capacity tank or the lightweight tank, but not both. And it hasn't been super apparent in my playthrough, but the heavier the tank is, the slower you swim when you're wearing it. And then there's an upgraded tank, which is the lightweight tank, but it doesn't have as much capacity as the ultra capacity tank. At a trade-off of you are faster when swimming. And it's always sort of puzzled me why you can't just take the ultra capacity tank and make it lightweight also. Why couldn't you do that? That doesn't make sense to me. So this combines those into an ultra lightweight or a lightweight ultra capacity tank. There's also a reinforced swimsuit, which gives damage reduction, and a still suit, which reclaims water. So every once in a while, it'll drop a small pouch of water into your inventory, which isn't enough to completely stop you from dehydrating, but it does help against that. And this allows you to combine those two. And then Ultra Glide swim charge fins. You have the Ultra Glide fins, which are really super duper fast fins. And then you have the swim charge fins, which charge the item you're holding while you're swimming. But you can't do both for some reason. Why can't you have swim charge fins that have the dynamo or whatever does the charging, and also are bigger and better and more fancier? Why can't you have both? So this does both. So yeah, this mod adds those three. There are other combinations that I think would be helpful, like if you could have a reinforced radiation suit, for example, or something like that. Incorporating the radiation suit into things, or making the rebreather mask, like you could upgrade the rebreather mask into like a reinforced, something like that, where you can have the rebreather and eat your cake too. But that's not in this mod. But this is actually helpful. I usually make one of each of these, so eventually. More Seamoth depth. This increases the depth module progression, because the Seamoth by default can only go down to 900 meters, whereas like with the Mark III depth module, which is the most upgraded you can get, it starts out at 200 meters, and then the Mark I upgrade, or the Mark I depth module, is 300. The Mark II is, I think, 600, and then, or it might be 500, and then the Mark III is 900. And this gives 2 more depth modules, which goes down to 1,500 meters, something like that. Which some might consider a cheat, but frankly, I think it's fine. Like, the Seamoth is too helpful not to just arbitrarily, oh, you can't go lower than 900. Whatever. So I like having my cake and eating it too. Or as the original version of that figure of speech goes, eat your cake and still have it, which makes way more sense. Performance booster, just generally performance improvements, basically. Most games that I have on the PC, I end up getting performance boosting mods, which is never a bad thing. I have a pretty decent, beefy computer, but even then, like, why make it chug harder if you don't have to? Radial tabs. So this is why I mentioned, or why I point out the Fabricator default vanilla layout, because that's what it looks like now. Well, this is one of the upgrade panels, but you can see here like it's radial, which you've seen in my videos. in this playlist. And it just looks better and uses the screen space better. So, and I really like this little bit here. Welcome to the world of circles. Yes, primo. That's a good line. Important. Once the new update to Subnautica is released, this mod will no longer work, and it's being worked on and will be updated once it's done. I don't know how long ago that note was put in there, but it's working as of the last time I played it, so who knows? Oh, it was last updated September 2020, and I last downloaded it in December, that's why. Fair enough. Resource monitor. So, in vanilla Subnautica, I almost said Minecraft. In vanilla Subnautica, you don't have any kind of readout as to what stuff you have. You have to go to a locker, open it, look. Close it, go to the next locker, open it, look. Close it, go to the next locker, open it, look. Which is super annoying. And there was another mod that I had a while back, which you can see here. The person who did the screenshot also uses that mod, which is an auto sorter. You make these lockers like the locker I've been using, or the lockers plural that I've been using in my little temporary habitat as of episode 9. They're like that, but you can set each locker to hold a certain types of materials. So only metals, or only salt, or only titanium. And you just toss all of the things into the sorting locker, and it spits them all out into the other lockers where they belong. Which is helpful for people who can deal with that. But I found very quickly when I tried using that mod that I would try to decide, okay, I want these materials in this locker and these materials in this locker, and trying to decide how to sort them and classify them, and my eyes would cross. And it just, very helpful, but the setup was too much for me, so I ended up stopping my use of that mod, which should not be in any way indicative of an indictment against that mod, because it's a fantastic mod. Great mod. You should use it. Definitely. If you can handle the setup. On the other hand, you have the resource monitor. And there's the big one and the small one. And it lays out everything you have and how many you have of them in that habitat. And you can take stuff from the resource monitor. You don't have to go, oh, I have 36 lead, so let me go to my storage room and see if I can find them. No, you just look at it here, put your cursor over it, and then click, and it takes them, which is amazing. Being able to just look at the one monitor and see, oh, I've got 11 crystalline sulfur, I've got 76 silver, I have 64 salt, and then being able to take from that, it's so helpful. And it does this for all inventories in the base, not just wall lockers, not just standing lockers. If you have the water filtration system, which intakes water from outside and spits out salt and water into its own inventory, which you then come and collect, and you have salt and water in the water filtration, and you come in here and you take water, and the only water you have is in the water filtration, it takes from there. It doesn't, it lists it here and takes it from there. You don't have to go get it and put it in the locker and then it'll show up. As long as it's an inventory in the base, it shows up. And I haven't gotten around to using one of these in the series I'm running now, but that's partly because I haven't really built a proper base yet. So, but you can see here the big one and the little one. I like the big one. It's large. Although the little one is also cute and has a place, you know, in smaller areas. It's fine. It should not be left out. Definitely recommend. And as this implies, you could use both this and the auto-sorting lockers mod. I imagine they work really well together. So yeah, you should definitely use both. Scannable time capsules. So, time capsules I have a mother of a time finding. Which is why I have the time capsule, it blips up time capsules on the HUD when one of them generates thing. But also, this, you can go into your scanner room and set it to scan for time capsules, and it'll pick them up, as long as there are some in the vicinity, which is not a function in vanilla, but it should be. Scanner module. So, in the vanilla game, if you want to scan something and you are in a sea moth or a prawn suit, you have to exit and then scan it and then get back in. With this, you can craft a module that plugs into it that lets you just hit a hotkey while inside, and there's a scanner built into the vehicle, and you can just scan things, and that's wonderful. Seaglide map controls. So, in vanilla, there's one control that controls the map on the Seaglide, which looks like this, and the Seaglide light. And you can have the light on, but the map off. I have no idea if that popped up on the video. If it did, I might have to try to edit that. You can have the map on but the light off, or you can have the light on but the map off, or you can have both off, or you can have both on. And in order to get it to the configuration you want, you have to click through the settings over and over and over and over and over until you get to the one you want. Instead, this one just has, it changes the key binding for the map to something else. So you have the light control and you have the map control, and they're separate, which is the way it should be. Show available items. So in vanilla Subnautica, and I've been using this mod so long that I forgot that it wasn't even in vanilla. When you highlight here, you have, it shows you what the ingredients are, but it doesn't tell you how many you have. This tells you how many you have. Slot extender. This gives you more than just 4 upgrades. It gives you 12 upgrades. I would like it if this had a config where you can decide how many extra upgrade modules or upgrade slots you get, because I'd prefer 8 instead of 12. But I don't think it has that. I guess it does have a config. I'll have to look into that later. Anyway, that's what that does. That's, I always felt that 4 upgrades max in the prawn suit and the sea moth was a little restrictive. So, this fixes that. Snap Builder it adds a snap to grid function, which is very useful for someone with OCD like me. There are times when it's not helpful, where you don't want it to snap to grid, but a lot of times, especially with the wall lockers, snap to grid is very helpful, so I have that. Storage info at a glance. By default, in vanilla, you can't tell if the locker is full, empty, or has items in it just by looking. This adds that functionality. Time capsule scanner. This adds the warning on your HUD whenever a time capsule is generated. It indicates that there will be a time capsule within 50 meters. Which I have yet to find in this playthrough as of episode 9, but, you know, I'm terrible at finding them anyway, so. Universal charging module. This combines the thermal charger and the solar charger. The solar charger charges the vehicle's batteries with sunlight, and the thermal charger charges it with thermal energy. The hotter the water around you, the more it charges. This combines them into one module. And then upgraded vehicles. This, when you upgrade your depth modules, it increases your vehicle speed and armor. And engine efficiency from the depth module. And it also gives Mark 2, 3, and 4 hull reinforcement. It also apparently does some other things. More CMOF depth. It works with and fixes up the hull reinforcement a little bit, I guess. So yeah. Oh, also I didn't open these up in the first place, but there's also QMods, which is a mod management system, which is absolutely required for just about all Subnautica mods. And then the SML helper, which is required for a whole lot of mods, as you can see here. Like, look at this list of things that requires this. So I have both of those also installed because they are dependent. Most mods are dependent on them. So yeah, this has been the Subnautica mod showcase video thing.